I've abused these earbuds 4.5 years now, and it's time for me to buy new earbuds, and I'd like to hear your recommendations in the comments. These are the LG Tone Ultra HBS 820S wireless in-ear behind-the-neck headphones. They've served me really well over the past 4 years. They have a decent tone, the Bluetooth is a decent resolution, the battery life was decent, the durability has been decent, and the price was decent as well. There's nothing special or gimmicky about these earbuds. They are utilitarian, getting the job done in the most efficient package. There's a volume rocker on the left outside that is pretty slow to adjust your volume. Also on the left is the charging port on the outside with a captive cover that is easy to open and close, and a button on the end of the shaft to answer or end phone calls, as well as summon your voice assistant. The on-off switch is on the inside of the left shaft. I prefer a switch on Bluetooth devices. I dislike holding buttons for 3 to 5 seconds to turn them on and off. On the right shaft you have a speaker on the top if you don't want to put the earbuds in. On the top outside you have a switch to select between the speakers and the earbuds. You have to manually crank the volume to 100% in order to hear the speaker, and then turn the volume back down in order to put the earbuds back in, which is a small inconvenience. On the outside of the right shaft there is a skip forward and rewind rocker. Then at the end of the right shaft there is a play pause button. The earbuds nicely nestle into the ends of the shaft when the cables are fully retracted, which is the only way I could put up with headphones around my neck. There are brands that just let the earbuds dangle on your chest, and I would rip these earbuds off during a workout. So having the earbuds retract into the ends is a necessity for me. The length of the cable is a little too short, but I have an abnormally long neck, so I'm not going to take points away for that. The cable behind the neck is flexible but stiff, and it helps keep everything in place. The batteries are in the ends of the shaft, which puts the weight forward and keeps the headphones from sliding down your back. I've seen brands that put the weight behind the neck and the headphones are constantly falling off, but these HBS 820s don't have that issue. The battery lasted me 4 to 5 days of moderate use when I first purchased them. I define moderate use as about 3 hours of music and phone calls per day. Napkin math says I was getting about 14 hours out of each charge, which is great because that's what LG advertises. 4.5 years later, I'm using them more heavily than ever, and the battery still lasts a day and a half. Each day I'm listening to podcasts and audiobooks for approximately 6 hours, so each charge is getting me about 9 hours of listening time. So I think that is excellent performance considering the abuse that I've put these through. Sweating on them, wearing them in the rain, charging them in hot cars in the summer, leaving them all weekend discharged, draining the battery completely before charging them, plugging them into fast chargers and cigarette lighters, and yet I can still charge these from empty to full in a little over an hour, and I often charge these for 20 minutes and get another 3 hours of use out of them. Not only has the battery impressed me, but the frequency response is good for such small drivers. The tone is a scooped mid-frequency that you often find in consumer headphones, which makes music sound fun and mellows out harsh spoken word recordings because the human voice sits in those mid-frequencies. This can also make certain voice recordings difficult to understand if those recordings haven't boosted their mid-frequency. Also, phone calls can be hard to understand depending on the voice processing of your friend's phone and the cell network. And if there are high frequencies coming through the phone call, they can be quite irritating. I've actually hung up on my wife because she was at a basketball game and the shoes squeaking on the court was giving me the heebie-jeebies. As far as the low frequencies, I've also been impressed at how much bass these earbuds put out. It's not sub-bass or anything crazy, but it's a warm, pleasing sound when listening to music. In order to hear the bass, you have to really shove these earbuds down your canal. As far as the resolution of the Bluetooth 4.1, it's okay. Good enough for Spotify, but Tidal users wouldn't like these. The quality of phone calls was never limited by the Bluetooth, but phone calls did suffer from poor microphone quality. Using voice to text with this microphone was a terrible experience, especially when driving with road noise or air conditioning fan noise, which is exactly when you need it to work. And I found myself needing to proofread text while I was driving, which completely negates the point. Now, I've had the HBS 820s 4.5 years, and over that time, they haven't received any firmware updates. Not that they need any, or that I would expect any. It's not like these have active noise canceling or any features that could be improved with a firmware update. Over the years, they have held up well. About a year after purchase, the mesh screens at the opening of the earbuds came unglued, meaning that earwax and dust was able to enter that area where the driver sits. I diligently kept it clean though, and I didn't have any issues. About 2 years after purchase, the left earbuds started cutting in and out when I pulled the cable to full extension. I just kept the cable one notch from full extension and it was fine. Nearly 4 years later, the right driver blew, which makes everything sound like an electric guitar through a distortion pedal, but only at high volumes, which makes me wonder if maybe some debris got in there. Then recently the HBS 820s began randomly shutting off, then immediately turning back on, which has made them unusable during important phone calls, leading me to start looking for my next set of Bluetooth headphones. I feel that 4 years of reliable performance has justified the $109 that I spent on these. Would I recommend them at their current sale price of $140? No, not really. There are Bluetooth 5 headphones for $100 from LG, so these are obsolete now. But I am strongly considering buying from LG again.